Look at this guy. How did he? Oh, he's having a bad day in more ways than one. Hello, and welcome back to our Sturgian Viking adventures. We're going to be attempting to take Utherlame Castle here. Now, I've actually attempted to take this twice before in my off-screen time, and there's a good reason for that, apart from me forgetting to actually put away that trebuchet right there. But yes, there is a good reason for that, and the reason is, every single time I do that, the Battanians come out with a massive army, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't really want to fight in a siege, and then have these guys come up to me and be like, oh, okay, now we're going to attack you. So generally having them take advantage of the situation in such a way is very irritating, and as a result, I have always finished the siege, I've, just ended it prematurely, basically, and then gone on to attack them again and again. So let's hope that the Battanians do not come at me with anything bigger than, I don't know, 300, 400, 500 units at this point. Now, bear in mind, I have taken so many of them prisoner. Absolutely huge numbers of them are in my prisoners' holds in my various castles at this point. And I'm not entirely sure how they are still even able to defend, to be honest. I feel like I have so many of them in my prisons that they should literally just give up. I feel like they should just give up straight away, and that's it. But obviously that's not how the game works, everyone's extremely stubborn, and well, we're gonna hopefully try to put the fear of the Sturgians in everyone else that attempts to attack us by completely destroying the Battanians as much as we possibly can. Now, the reason why I called for an army here, even though I think pretty much be able to take this castle by myself, is just purely for the fact that I want more people's engineering skill to come along and actually help me out, because engineering skill, it's not a strong suit of Iceni's, not at all. It is actually terrible for me, and having some additional people that help me out with that is, well, very, very useful indeed, especially considering it increases the speed of which we can create those pieces of siege equipment by such a dramatic amount. I actually couldn't believe it, to be honest. Couldn't believe that it was so much quicker, because as I said, I did attempt to do a siege by myself, one of them at least, one out of the two, and when I was doing it by myself, I created these things at such a slow pace that I couldn't believe it. It was absolutely painstakingly annoying, so I decided, okay, gonna call for an army next time. Then I called for an army, and then the Battanians came out of nowhere and were like, okay, well, yeah, we're gonna be annoying now. That's kind of what they decided to do. But hopefully we're gonna, we've actually entered this fief in a perfect location. I don't know whether you noticed that or noticed why, but we have an advantage against the opponent quite dramatically here. And for some reason, we are getting a massive amount of lag at this point. Not entirely sure why that is. Okay, wait a minute. Can I even block? Oh, get him. Get him. Okay, whoa. Oh, this is difficult. This is actually very, very difficult when you have such a significant amount of frame rate problems. I have not had any frame rate problems whatsoever since updating to 1.5.2, so this is actually very strange. Not entirely sure why this is happening, but I guess sometimes it happens. It might be the map, it might be the scene itself that is causing us to have these problems, or it could just literally be because we have so many units on the battlefield at any one time. That might be causing us a couple of problems here. But you can see that we only have about 500. I think my maximum battle size is around that number. I think I decided to reduce it by a pretty considerable amount just so that we can have a smoother experience. But obviously that's, for some reason, not working anymore. I'm not too sure why, but hopefully we're going to be able to make the most of it, at least try to get some skills with Iceni. Try and get some two-handed weapon proficiency. Try and get some athletics, of course. Ow, that was quite a bit of damage right there. And it seems as though we have them on the run. Yes, we have them indeed on the run. And hopefully I will be able to... Oh, yeah. Oh, I love the overheads. I love the overheads. Come on now. Let's switch to our thrown axes. Oh, headshot. Did you see that? Oh, yes. Very nice. Oh, I missed the last one. Oh, well. Never mind. You can't hit them all, I suppose. Can't hit them all. But yeah, that was nice. That was complete luck, absolute luck. There's no way that could be construed as skill in any way, shape, or form. And that is indeed the end of this battle. As you can see, they killed wow, they literally only killed 67 of our attacking forces. That is crazy. Can't imagine that. And now, see, look, now the performance is perfectly fine, even though we literally have 500 units on the battlefield. So I assume it was something to do with the Battanian unit that was causing a bit of a problem with the performance of the game. Not entirely sure why or what, but, you know, that's not really for me to figure out, unfortunately. I'd like to be able to try and fix those kinds of things, but you know how it is. Sometimes it's just something you're going to have to wait for optimization. Obviously, it's in early access, so we need to wait for optimization here and there. Anyway, engineering has finally advanced to 51, even though that is still utterly pitiful and really, really bad. But hopefully, Utherlame Castle is going to do a decent job of expanding our territory in this area. Now, Nevyank's castle was actually under siege by someone from the Vlandians, and I think I'd probably like to go over there in just a second. So let me actually just take a quick look. Okay, so Utherlame Castle, they want to give this to Ragnvad. I am actually pretty happy to give this to Ragnvad, personally. I don't really want to have any more castles. I, by the way, did just purchase a workshop in Epicrotia as well. And now what we're going to be doing is disbanding the army. And which workshop, you ask? It's a smithy. Oh yes, it's a smithy. Ah, seems like we're declaring war on the Western Empire now. Everyone wants this. Okay, well, I'm perfectly happy to do that. As you can see, our combat strength is so massive that the numbers go off the side of the screen. Okay, well, I guess that's perfectly fine and acceptable. Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so what we're hopefully going to do, I'd like to attack this caravan if at all possible. Try and win through economic suppression, I guess. That happens in real life as well, so, you know, why would it not work in the game? I mean, really, it is just so realistic. I mean, we know that this game is extremely realistic, right? Anyway, there we go. Declaration of war right there, and I'd like to take Flinthold Castle if at all possible. Who's this? Oh, it's Mr. Ragnvad himself. Now, the main problem that I have with being a vassal is the fact that I cannot call for the ruler's party. That's the only issue I have. But that makes all the sense in the world, of course, because you're not going to be able to call the king to your side as a mere vassal. You know, that's just disrespectful. If you were to say, Ragnvad, come over here, you know, shine my boots, you imbecile, and so on. You know, that's the kind of thing that you can't do with your liege, of course. That's just not going to work. Okay, so what I would like to do is I'd like to go over here and take Gersagos Castle, and then hopefully take Rote as well. I know I said that it would be good for us to take some stuff with Battania, but we've taken Utherlame Castle. That's a good little inroad there. But I would like to take Gersagos as well, because this allows us a little bit more of a trade route through here as well, if necessary, because obviously if we make peace with the Western Empire or something like that, then it's definitely going to make a huge, huge difference to have this village not scout out all of these various areas here. You know what I'm actually going to do? I'm actually wondering, you know, I don't know whether we should do that. What do they actually have? Let me actually just take a quick look. They don't really have anything too much. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to build siege rams and siege towers, and we're going to go for an old-fashioned siege. We're going to go for a warband style siege, which is basically just having siege equipment, and that's it. Just literally the siege equipment that doesn't actually do any damage to the walls or anything like that. Did you see that? Vashorki has been taken prisoner by mountain bandits. That is embarrassing, and I am going to remind him of that fact every single time we meet, because you know me and Vashorki, we don't really have a very good relationship, so I'm just going to tease him with that. I'm going to be like, hey, remember that time you got taken prisoner by those mountain bandits? And then he's going to be like, this again, you've mentioned this 12 times in the last 5 seconds. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. But anyway, we're hopefully going to be able to get this siege tower up and running, and then we'll head in. Alright, we're going in, and I have actually built a fire onager because I'd actually like to try and utilize it a little bit here, because I know I said, hey, you know what, we're going to try and use a fire onager sometime in the future. This is that time, especially considering we're going to be taking the old-fashioned route of pushing these siege towers and getting this battering ram all the way to the walls. That is going to make all the difference, and I'm very much hoping that we'll be able to utilize the fire onager as much as we possibly can. Bear in mind that we do have limited ammunition. It's not going to be a case of us being able to just fire it off any way, shape or form. We need to get better with it fast, otherwise it's not going to work very, very well at all. Hey, Huskar, could you... are you serious right now? Can I not use this myself? Oh, this is just rotate. Oh, okay, yeah. No, I'm going to use it. There we go. Okay, so this is me. Right. I have no idea where the enemy is, as you can quite clearly tell. Okay, well, this is not going to work. Okay, fire. No? No. No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. Okay, so let's try a little bit further, shall we? Yes. I mean, see, now, here's the thing. It would help if we weren't firing through the trees. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, let's try a little bit further then. Okay, no, that's not also going to work. Okay, what about a little bit further then? Maybe I'm firing too far? That could be it. But we're running out of ammunition. Yeah, that's exactly the problem. I know someone said in the comments actually that the trebuchets are not that difficult to use. You just need to get used to them and everything. And yes, that's absolutely true. No doubt. However, in this kind of situation, I would love to have a little icon or something that just gives me a little idea as to where the projectile is going to hit. You know, I don't really want like a surefire way to kill enemies or anything like that, because let's face it, we wouldn't want it to be too easy, would we? No, that would just be awful. We wouldn't want to have too much fun. But anyway, the point is, I would very much like to hit someone. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. We hit one person. Wonderful. Okay, so maybe, how many do I have left? I have like 4 shots left, so let's just continue firing in the same area. No. Okay, that did absolutely nothing. It seems like the enemies have now met our forces as well, which is obviously not going to really help us out at all, because that means that most of the enemy are going to be moving away from the walls. So I suppose I will leave the AI to do their thing here, and I will move on to try and do as much damage as I possibly can with my two-handed axe. I'm prepared. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, unfortunately, it feels to me like my forces are just going to get in there, no problem at all, and yeah, we're not really going to... oh, wow. Oh, I'm actually kind of surprised that they got in so fast. Look at this guy! How did he... Oh, he's having a bad day in more ways than one. Let's just say that. Anyway, there you go. There's a victory for us. And wow, I'm actually kind of surprised that this worked out so incredibly nicely, because in the past, whenever I've done a old-fashioned siege with the siege towers and the battering ram and so on and so forth, it really didn't work out that well at all. It always kind of sucked, pretty much. But this time, actually not. Kind of crazy, actually. Not too sure how that happened, but okay. And I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a little bit of interference in this area as well. So, for example, this guy, hello there. I'd like to see if I can murder him. There we go. That is what we like to see. Let's just take him prisoner as well. All of these trivial fights will be easy enough. And I'm not going to be taking any prisoners. I know that people say I should take the Skolder units, and yes, absolutely, I agree. However, I just don't want to take any prisoners right now because I want to move as fast as I possibly can while we are attempting to intercept as many units as possible. Ragnvald's giving himself a lot of fiefs right now. Not entirely sure if I really agree with that, but he doesn't have that many as it is, as you can see. He just has 2 towns, Nevyansk Castle, Utherlame Castle, and now Gersagos Castle. So it's not actually that significant. But it's good to know that, you know, we should keep an eye on it at the very least, because we don't want him running around with a, shall we say, Dirthart situation. Because if you've seen that series, the original series of Bannerlord that I made, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But Dirthart is one of the worst offenders when it comes to giving himself every fief imaginable. It really just happens. Like, it just works. It just works. It just happens, you know. Anyway, we're going to take this. There we go. Nice. And we're going to be taking all the loot too. Yeah, that actually reminds me. I need to find a town that has a massive amount of money in the marketplace. Because if I can do that, then I will be in a great position. Because I have so much loot. Just so much loot. That it would be nice to be able to sell that. Alright, so what's going on here? Okay, so do you think we can take this town with a regular old-fashioned siege? Personally, I'm going to say no. So I'm going to go for the siege, the classic, well, not classic, but I'm going to go for the good old destroying the walls tactic, I guess. And we will hopefully try to get some additional units to join us. I don't know whether you noticed, but apparently there's a massive army running around as well. This is not... Yeah, 663 units. That's not significant enough, in my opinion, for us to be able to take this. But we might be able to force the Western Empire into coming out and to meeting us and basically saying, hello, I'd like to do battle with you. Now, I've actually gone into my army screen just to see what the other army in Sturgia is doing. And let me tell you, they're not really doing anything that important, unfortunately. They are going to Ataconia Castle at this point in time, and let me tell you, Ataconia Castle is really not even that important. It really is not. It's all the way out on the fringe somewhere. It doesn't really lead anywhere too dramatic. And unfortunately, they're going to dedicate huge amounts of resources to just taking a castle that, in my opinion, I think has an extremely low garrison anyway. I think I'd probably be able to take that pretty much solo at this point. I don't think I would really need any assistance whatsoever. So I am a bit disappointed with the AI's decision making in this case, but maybe that just means that I should have done a better job myself of minimizing the, well, I don't want to mince words here, but minimizing the stupidity of the AI sometimes, because the AI does tend to be a little bit dense when it comes to selecting targets to besiege. They tend to choose targets that are very far away and don't really hold that much strategic value. I actually don't even know what the requirements are or the specifications for the AI to consider besieging a particular fief. It might be that they don't have a huge amount of defense. It might be that they place some kind of value on that particular fief in question, and they go, oh, yeah, this is worth 10 microbits or whatever it might be. I don't know. And it might be that they do something like that. But otherwise, let's lead an assault, because we've gotten the walls down, and we should probably make the most of it as fast as we possibly can. Thank you very much. And otherwise, let's do this. Let's begin the assault. I'm just going to tell everyone to charge in, by the way, because we have absolutely all the walls down, and that's all we really need. We're just going to rush them as much as we possibly can. I will be going for two-handed, and we're just going to go and act like a bit of a berserker in the front lines, try and get as many people down as we possibly can. As you can see, the frame rate in the last 2 sieges has been completely fine, very smooth indeed, and I think the problem is indeed Botanian units, because as we saw in the Mud Golem episode, there seems to be a bit of a problem with some of their textures, so it might very well be that the Botanians are causing a bit of a problem with the frame rate. So we'll see what happens with that, but otherwise, two-handed. I have my two-handed here, I'm ready. Yes, 22 damage. Oh, can you believe I did such an amazing amount of damage right there? 22? That is amazing. Can't believe that I was able to do such a significant amount. That's enough to destroy the sun. Can you believe it? Can't believe that no aliens have tried to do that yet. Anyway, oh, I got crushed through just right there. We got to be a bit careful. Maybe not, actually. Maybe not, because I am at full HP, so even if I do get crushed through a little bit, then it's not really going to make that much difference. I have to be a bit careful, though. I am being surrounded a little bit here, so I should be a bit cautious. Oh, there we go. Get him. Get them. There we are. Nice, nice. Good damage. Get them. That is all we need to do. And you know, that is exactly why I love morale systems in these kinds of games. I think Total War also has a similar system where if you do massive amounts of damage to the enemy force, then the enemy force is going to be like, oh, I'm out of here, you know, and they're going to start routing, you know, and that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about here, because these guys are certainly routing. And our enemies are fleeing as expected. And we gain a huge amount of renown, nice influence as well. We lost a grand total of 14 units in the entirety of our attacking force. And we'll just let our forces take the rest of the prisoners if they want to. Otherwise, we've taken Rote. Look at that. We took it. Can you believe it? Oh, yeah. It's really nice. Especially if you can get a lot of allied vassals in your army and they can contribute their engineering skill to your overall speed. That really makes a huge difference, because not doing it that way and making it so that, you know, you have to rely on your own engineering skill, because unless you have about 150 engineering skill, you're going to be waiting there for a long time. Technically, you need only about 100, in my opinion, to make it somewhat less tedious. But in general, I'd highly recommend just calling for an army and having your vassals or having your fellow vassals help you out a little bit in these kinds of situations. But there you go. All right, so let's actually take a quick look at what's going to happen here. So let's disband the army real quick. Where are they going to go? Are they going to go to the right? Yes. Get him. Attack him. He's surely going... Yes, there we go. Good work. Good work. Kill him. There we go. Take him down. And I'm going to increase my relation with this guy a little bit. We can take Borcha prisoner. Hilariously enough, his name is Borcha because that is actually a companion from Warband, if you can believe it. And have I seen Jeremus yet? I don't think I've seen Jeremus at all. I think there is a Jeremus, but it's a different spelling. So that might be something, but otherwise, Rote has been taken. I technically could take this for myself. Do I want to, though? Do I? Yes, I think I do. I think it's going to be quite fun to have it. Especially considering we can continue launching attacks from Rote at this point. And look at how much prosperity it has. Obviously not as much prosperity as Epicrotia, but, you know, it's going to be still pretty decent. Otherwise, we're just going to be attacking Desporion right here. 10,000 influence. Actually, 10,000 gold from him. And that's pretty good, you know, not too bad, not too bad, especially considering we can eliminate him. Look at how many people are at war against us. Every single faction in the game, with the exception of the Khuzait. Oh, and the Southern Empire, I believe, yes, and the Southern Empire. But I assume the Southern Empire will be declaring war against us relatively soon anyway. But that's going to be it for this episode. If you enjoyed the video, then please give it a like. I very much appreciate it, and I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.